Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition, a very special edition of the Cerebral Smack Talk live on YouTube.com. It is good old MF Michael Fletcher with Anthony Florio, Dee Woodson, and Michael Bullock as we will give you in the reaction of WWE's Clash of Champions that went down here tonight from the TD Garden in Boston, Massachusetts, exclusively on the WWE Network and more importantly on all major WWE pay-per-view carriers. So here we go, guys. The final event of the year. And we started it off, well, with a pre-show fight, Mojo Rawley versus Zack Ryder. Mojo Rawley won the bout at 6 minutes and 55 seconds. But normally the rules state we don't cover pre-show fights. So we go right into the main show. Off tonight with the United States Heavyweight Championship as it was Dolph Ziggler versus the reigning champion Baron Corbin. And when it was all said and done, the winner of the bout unofficially at 12 minutes and 45 seconds and the new United States Heavyweight Champion Dolph Ziggler. He wins the title here tonight. Anthony Florio, major upset in Beantown. It looks like the man who's been written off, left for dead in WWE, he just got a new lease on life. New United States champion.
Indeed, he did. And I'll tell you, MF, I mean, what a way to start off the Clash of Champions. This final pay-per-view event of 2017, exclusive to SmackDown Live. And wow, 3.5 stars. I got to be honest with you. 3.5 stars. I could even go as far as I could make an argument for this to be the fight of the night, honestly. That's how good this was. This was really, really good. I mean, wow, where do I start? It ended up being a very good match. And one that, I was kind of not expecting to be all that good. I mean, they all worked hard. Crowd was into it. Home stretch was very well done. As they teased Corbin doing the steal, the win finish, the ultimate a la Edge, the ultimate opportunist, only for Dolph Ziggler to pick up the surprise victory. Booking comes across as odd, as Ziggler was a third wheel, has no momentum, so the booking of the title change comes off as, a title change for the sake of it. I mean, especially with how over Bobby Roode was. And a very good match with a well-executed finish. Ziggler winning the match, winning the belt was a surprise, but I got to be honest. I think he's going to be a transitional champion. I think he could have a future challenger down the line. I'm not going to get into who that is just yet. I'll let you know when that's coming. But nonetheless, I mean, the build to this was god-awful, but the match tonight delivered. I mean, it far surpassed my expectations. Honest to goodness, it really did. So you can make an argument for fight of the night. Really, you really can. That's how great this was. Not sure about it, though. I'll think about it because there were some other good matches on this show tonight. So solid 3.5 stars. Surprise outcome. None of us saw this coming. Michael Bullock, Phenom, come on in. I mean, we talked about this, and who would have thought? Dolph Ziggler, a guy who admitted that he was phoning it in months ago. And go figure, months later, here's a guy who has no momentum whatsoever. And now all of a sudden, he's now a 2-time United States heavyweight champion. I smell paper transitional champion in the future.
Yeah, I mean, this was an outcome that I don't think anybody expected. I mean, I was expecting either Bobby Roode to retain the title, or to become the new champion, and or Baron Corbin to retain it. But here's a man, Dolph Ziggler, that many of us felt that he never should have been in this match in the first place. But after what I saw tonight, not just from the other two, but from Dolph Ziggler, he certainly made a case of why he deserved to be in there. So, yeah, nice nice win for Dolph Ziggler. After getting written off, he's now the new United States champion. But I do get the feeling that he's not going to be United States champion for long. I think Baron Corbin is probably going to invoke his rematch clause, or somewhere down the line, he's going to lose the title. When? Could be this Tuesday on SmackDown Live, or could be somewhere in the coming weeks. But either way, this was a good match to start off the Clash of Champions pay-per-view. I do agree with the rating, a 3.5-star match here. So there's really nothing more I can say. So Didi Whitson, come on in and give us your thought on this opening match.
It was a pretty good match. I really enjoyed it. I'll give it about 3.5 stars. I was kind of surprised Ziggler pulled it off in the end, but hey, it still was a good way to open the pay-per-view. So not much more I have to say about it. As far as my situation we were talking about before the show, got the computer restarted. Can't get in through the computer, so I guess I'm doing the show through the cell phone tonight. So
okay. All right, very well. And we'll go right into the next fight, which was the Fatal 4-Way for the SmackDown Tag Team Championship. The champions are the Usos. They go up against the New Day, which was Big E Langston and Kofi Kingston, Xavier Woods outside, Shelton Benjamin and Chad Gable, and of course, the team that's been getting a lot of love lately, Rusev and Aiden English. Said and done. The winners of the bout at 12 minutes and 55 seconds unofficially, and still the SmackDown Tag Team Champions, Jimmy and Jay, the Usos. They win the match. They keep the titles in possession. Nothing more to say. Michael Bullock, it's all yours, my friend.
What was the time of the fall, Fletch, again? I didn't quite catch it.
12 minutes and 55 seconds.
I'll give it somewhere between 3.5 to 3 3/4 of a star. I mean, this was another phenomenal match. I mean, give credit where it's due to all four teams. I mean, they put on a solid encounter. But once again, the Usos, they overcome all the odds and are still the tag team champs, or the SmackDown Live tag team champs, and they're showing right now that they are the best team, the best tag team in probably all the tag team divisions. I mean, I'm sure the Bar over on Monday Night Raw would have something to say about that. But all in all, I mean, kudos to all four teams, and yeah, there's really nothing more to say. 3.5 to 3 3/4, or I could even say maybe teetering on 4, because I thought the match. I mean, you know what? I'll change it. 3.5 to 4 stars. So that's all I'm gonna say on it. So Didi Woodson, I mean, what can you say? Another really good match here.
yeah, it was a good match. A lot of action and everything. Rusev and English did prove that they are a good team, that they can work together. No, they didn't pull it off tonight. Neither did Benjamin and Gable. But it was still a very good showing between the two. We all knew what New Day and Usos could bring to the table. And, of course, Usos pulled it off in the end. And I'm going to go with about the 3.5 stars. So not much more I have to say about it. So, Fletch, I guess it's your.
Well, it goes to me, Didi, because I think we're running the 3-person weave here. So, slight overscore. I'm going to go 3.25 to 3.5 stars. I mean, it was still a very good match. It was a little slow early, but once the action picked up, then it kicked into high, and it was a run match with plenty of near falls for Rusev and Aiden English, who had the fans with them from start to finish, including me. it felt like everyone got a chance to shine during the bout, as even Chad Gable, who took the pin, looked very strong before he was done. That's the strongest I've seen Chad Gable look in a long time. So kudos to WWE for that. And despite some early confusion and layout issues, and like I said, that little slow start at the beginning, they recovered very well, and they put on an overall very good and crowd-pleasing bout. Rusev and English, I mean, they were so over. I mean, especially before the match when English was doing his singing routine, which you know how much I love that. And I'll tell you right now, I'm going to tell you all right now, I never said this before, but I'm going to say it now. If, and only if, Rusev and Aiden English would have gone over and won the titles, I would have channeled my inner Aiden English, and I would have belted out Rusev Day for me. And I would have channeled Aiden English with of course, the four names, the four great male vocalists. So I always compare them to, Pavarotti, Robert Goulet, Francois Clemens, and John Reardon from Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. But, that's a story for another day. But man, oh man, if it wasn't for that little slowness at the start, I probably would have agreed with Bullock's rating. But that little slow start, that's my only little nitpick. But other than that, exactly what I thought that match was going to be. A crowd pleaser, spot fest, Shakespearean drama again, like we had in the U.S. title bout. I mean, there was Shakespearean drama in that bout too. And we got some more here. So I really wanted to see Rusev and Aiden English win the titles, but let's face it, the Usos tonight just proved why, in my honest opinion, they are the best tag team in WWE today. And it pains me to say it as a Raw guy, considering my show's champions, The Bar. I still think, they're the cream of the crop on Monday Night Raw, along with Rollins and Ambrose. But Usos, Jimmy and Jay, locked it down one more time. So nothing more to say except MF. Let's get it back to you. Welcome once again to the Uso Penitentiary.
And not only that, but I think we can all agree on this one. The Usos have probably locked down the Wrestling Forum Tag Team of the Year.
No arguments here.
I don't think there's anybody else that would
no
come
question about it.
remotely close. I think this would probably be a unanimous decision here. The Usos will get the Wrestling Forum Tag Team of the Year spot in our eyes. And speaking of a person who might be in the running for some hardware in a few weeks, we're talking about the women and the WWE SmackDown Women's title fight on the line, as it was Charlotte Flair putting the title on the line against Natalya, the winner of the bout, in 10 minutes and 35 seconds, successfully defending the title. Charlotte Flair wins the Lumberjill match. Apparently, there was no bank cash-in. Basically, Carmella does not cash it in tonight. So we're holding it out. We're waiting for that day that she does. But as of now, the Queen remains the top gal on the SmackDown brand. Charlotte Flair wins. Dee Woodson, it's all yours. Seconds. Respectable. Not bad for a women's fight.
Yeah, it was very respectable. And like I said on the previous show, I was pretty sure she was going to win it. As for the cash-in, technically I'm kind of glad she didn't get it. She tried, but I'm kind of glad she didn't. But, it is what it is. But yeah, I'm going to give it 2.5 to 3 stars. It was a very good match. A lot going on there, and we did have a little bit of chaos at the end there with everything too. But I have one little message for Natty. There's no crying in wrestling. If you take a loss, you take a loss. You don't sit there and boo-hoo about it. Come on. Are you an adult or are you a 2-year-old? My granddaughter don't even cry as much as you do.
Well, she acted like a 2-year-old tonight.
Yes, she did. She threw a 2-year-old temper tantrum. So,
and I'm sure Callie would disapprove of her behavior.
Oh yeah. Callie would probably claw her buns. So,
and maybe claw one of her cats.
yeah, claw two paws. And she'll probably bring Tiger along with her to help, so. But yeah, not much more I had to say about it. So, Flora, it's yours.
Solid 2.5 stars. That's the best I can go. Solid match with good use of the Lumberjills, even though there were at times where it was coming a little too much for my taste. I mean, it felt like one of those. It was one of those like. It was the female version of Super Cena. Charlotte overcoming all the odds. I mean, it was basically almost like a 7-on-1 handicap match, for goodness sakes. When you throw in the Riot Squad, and I guess we could say the newly reformed Welcoming Committee, or as we used to call them, the Sweet Valley High Mean Girls. But like I said, solid match with good use of the Lumberjills. Nice to see Carmella at least tease cashing in the contract, even though it didn't lead to anything. The post-match promo from Natalya, I know nobody liked it. I know Didi and Bullock, I know they're, not all that into it. But I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't like it either, but I thought it was successful in terms of, getting the crowd worked up. But I'm not sure where they're going with this. Only time will tell, and we're probably going to find out more. We'll probably see where this goes come Tuesday night on SmackDown Live from the Prudential Center in Newark, New Jersey. So really nothing more to say on that. So solid 2.5-star match. So nothing more to say, MF. Or I should say Michael Bullock. Let's get it to you. 10.5 minutes. Charlotte successfully going over. No big surprise. So your thoughts on the Lumberjill match?
Yeah, I thought it was a good match. 2.5 stars is my rating. I mean, it was good for what it was, and it got a good amount of time here, and yeah, with all that chaos out there, and when Carmella was crawling into the ring with that Money in the Bank briefcase, I'm like, oh no, please don't cash it in. And I'm sure Dee Dee Woodson was saying the same thing too. And as soon as Ruby Riott came in and stopped her from doing it, I was like, thank you, because I would have flipped my lid if Carmella cashed in and won the title. But it didn't happen. Thank goodness for that. But I hate to be the bearer of bad news, Dee Dee. It's going to happen somewhere down the line. I mean, I know I'm trying not to be the bearer of bad news, but I'm just being honest here. That's all. So don't try to come after me for it. I'm just being brutally honest here. So yeah. So really got nothing more to say. 2.5 stars is my rating. So I say we just move on to Fletch, and I think we have our first cutout of the night.
The only cutout of the night. It was the Bludgeon Brothers versus Breezango. The Bludgeon Brothers wins it in about 1:55 seconds. So, like I said, that's an automatic cutout. However, this one won't. And I know a lot of people are talking about this fight right now. The tag team match that SmackDown Live pretty much promoted pretty heavily more than any other match. Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens versus Randy Orton and Shinsuke Nakamura. Shane McMahon and Daniel Bryan listed as special guest referees. Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn lost this match. Not only would they be fired from SmackDown Live, they would be let go by WWE altogether. Basically, there would not be an opportunity for Raw to scoop them up. They would be out of the company permanently. When it was all said and done, the winners of the bout at 21 minutes, 40 seconds, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn wins the bout, thanks in large part to the leader of the Yes Movement, Daniel Bryan goes heel. He turns on the WWE Universe. Now, R.I.P. to the Yes Movement. It is gone. It is dead. It is buried. Anthony Florio, you lead off.
Oh my goodness. I don't know what to say on this. Well, as far as the previous bout, yeah, that's a cutout. That's a no rating to a dud. That was clearly the worst fight of the night. You can honestly make an argument for this one. I mean, if it wasn't for that Bludgeon Brothers squash of Breezango, I would have called this the worst fight of the night. I have every right to give this a dud, but I'm not going to do that. I am going to give it 1 star because this was terrible. You know why it was terrible? I'm going to tell you why it was terrible. This match was not about Randy Orton, not about Shinsuke Nakamura, not about Kevin Owens, not about Sami Zayn. It was all about Shane McMahon and Daniel Bryan. They were basically fighting like brothers who share a room, arguing over, whose side and all that. It was all about the authority figure. No. Doesn't work with me. Doesn't work with me at all. Want me to be the man who tells it like it is? I'm going to tell it like it is right here and right now. Like I said, 1 star. And if it wasn't for that bludgeon squash, this would have been the worst fight of the night. Because this was a complete and utter cluster bleep. It was a mess. And yeah, no good. And I largely showcased it showcased a lot of things that I don't like about SmackDown Live. And as expected, Shane O'Mac and Daniel Bryan were the entire focus of the match, and that's why this match was awful. It felt like minimal effort from the 4 men, and you can't blame them because it was never about them in any way. Unless this is actually building to an in-ring return for Daniel Bryan, it was a waste. It went too long, and worse than that, it was a snoozer of a match. Completely boring. The 2 refs not only took all of the attention, but they hurt the match severely. And they made it clunky and disjointed at times. This we knew it was going to be an overbooked mess, but I didn't think it was going to be this bad. The Bryan and Shane stuff was not nearly compelling enough to make this worth the time invested or to overcome this lackadaisical bout. Like I said, it resembled 2 brothers arguing, sharing a room, arguing over, who gets what side and, who gets the privacy and all that nonsense. So, no. And then, but here's the thing though, MF. I mean, yeah, you could say it's a heel turn. Yeah, you could say that, but I don't think it was a full-on heel turn. I don't think it was a full-fledged heel turn for Daniel Bryan. I don't think so. I think the only way it would have been a full-fledged heel turn is if he had, embraced or did something, to symbolize the union with the Owens and Zayn. If he had, done like a group hug or like a raising of the hands, like in a token of victory, then that would have been a full-fledged heel turn. And you heard that crowd. That crowd was popping for it. They loved that. They were doing yes. They were still doing it. So we'll find out more on Tuesday night. Don't worry. Tuesday night, we're going to find out if it's a full-on heel turn or not. So I don't think it is, but we'll wait and find out. He was just basically counteracting. He was contradicting Shano the whole time. I mean, it's a damn shame because I thought this was going to be a big fight. I mean, they were a distraction early, and some would say it was a creative finish and that Shane clearly tried to screw Zayn and Owens by not counting a fall that would have ended the bout. So Bryan didn't look like a heel when he made the fast count to give the heels the win, since it was basically making up for Shane's screw job. And memo to WWE, don't ever do this 2-referee thing again anytime soon. If it wasn't for that, this would have been awesome. All I can say, what a disappointment, what a colossal disappointment, colossal letdown, complete and utter waste of time, snoozer of a match. I'm surprised I even stayed awake during this match. I could have easily taken a snooze during this match. But Shane O'Mac and Daniel Bryan, it was all about them. It was not about those four guys. And damn it to hell, those four deserve better. Sorry. 1 star. End of rant. Dropping the mic. Walking out. Bullet go.
WWE. All I can say is, what the freaking hell is that? Really? I mean, I agree. 1 star. I mean, this was a complete waste of time, as far as I'm concerned. Like Flora just mentioned, this was all about Shane McMahon and Daniel Bryan. It wasn't about Randy Orton. It wasn't about Shinsuke Nakamura. It wasn't about Sami Zayn. It wasn't about Kevin Owens. It was about the 2 guest referees. Why in the heck did you need 2 guest referees for this? 1 is good enough for me, but 2. Some people would say are probably going to be saying when they hear this, they're like, "Oh, it got a good amount of time. It was still a good match." But no, this was more about the 2 special guest referees. It was a complete waste of time, and this is where I could have fallen asleep for goodness sakes. These 4 wrestlers who are good deserve way better than what they got here. But no, WWE wanted to focus more on Shane McMahon and Daniel Bryan. And that, to me, it's a miscarriage of justice. It's an atrocity, and I'm not going to stand for this. And WWE, if you pull something like this on us again, I swear I'm going to go off big time, and I'm getting my shovel because I'm going to bury somebody's ass 6 feet under. Done. Finished. 1 star. I'm done. End of rant, end of quotation, end of statement. Drops the mic and walks out. Dee Woods, and it's yours. I'm done. I'm done with this freaking nonsense.
Yeah, I think you can kind of hear these 2. That's probably my sentiment. Meow. Boring. Tired. Sleepy.
What's the other cat's name again?
This one's Tiger. This one's Callie.
Oh, Tiger. All right. So Callie and Tiger probably would want to stick their claws into WWE management right now after this freaking stunt they pulled.
Neither one of them could care less. Neither one of them really paid attention tonight to the pay-per-view, which is odd because usually Callie is sitting there watching, whatever we're watching tonight. They basically slept through the whole pay-per-view, so that kind of tells you what the cat's sentiments are.
Maybe it was a good thing they did sleep through that match.
Yeah. So, you can pretty much hear Tiger. He's kind of softly meowing here. So. That's Tiger. Yeah, I'm not even going to grace it with a star. Yeah, there was a lot of action going on, but like I said, I pretty much thought, that it was going to end up being a known contest, and it almost did. So, I'm not even going to, to me, it was pretty much a dud, so I'm not even going to rate it. So just move on.
All right, and we go to the main event of the evening for the WWE Championship, AJ Styles versus Jinder Mahal. And when it was all said and done, out and still WWE Champion, the phenomenal AJ Styles. He wins the match. He keeps the belt. Michael Bullock, you lead off.
Hey, I thought this one was pretty good, though. I'm going to give it 3 3/4 of a star. Even though the Singh brothers still got involved, even after Jinder said, I can do it without them. They still got involved. They still was a pain in the butt. AJ still pulled it off. So, kudos to AJ. He proved who actually deserves the title. So 3 3/4 for me. So Florio, it's yours.
Sorry, Didi, you overscored this. 2 3/4 to 3 stars is the best I can give it. I'm giving the U.S. title opener the Fight of the Night honors. It was basically Jinder dominating. I mean, that's really what it was. I mean, for a very good majority of this match, they had AJ sell for Jinder, and that was a problem for me. Honest to goodness, I thought the SmackDown match was far and away better, if I'm going to be real honest. I felt that element of Shakespearean drama on that night. Hardly felt it here. I mean, don't get me wrong, it was a good main event. Mahal does gain something in defeat because of how much of the match he was given, and thanks to Corey Graves gushing over him on commentary. So, for the most part, it was the AJ Styles show. Not that that's a bad thing. He sold everything like it was killing him, making Mahal's limited offense look good once again. And for the most part, Mahal's work was solid and focused, but there was little to no heat for it, especially down the stretch on the near falls. The crowd did eventually rally for AJ, but the overall lack of reaction really hurt the bout. The SmackDown match was far and away better, like I said, as that one was more streamlined, had a better pacing and layout, and also had a much more invested crowd. Okay, you gave Jinder his rematch, you gave Jinder his main event spotlight. Now, can we please move AJ Styles onto someone more interesting, better, and skilled? That's all I can ask. And as far as Jinder goes, remember that little scenario I talked about Dolph Ziggler earlier? I wouldn't be surprised if the plan is to have Jinder Mahal bounce right back from this loss and take the United States Heavyweight Championship from Dolph Ziggler. Think about that. I could see that happening. I really could. Even though they're both heels, but I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Unless maybe this was a possible face turn for Ziggler. I don't know. But we'll find out. But that's the little scenario I wanted to drop on you folks from earlier. So 2 3/4 to 3 stars. That's the correct rating for this match. Good main event, not the greatest. I mean, basically it was AJ selling for Jinder pretty much for the entire match. And AJ, you could say, he's somewhat pulled a Super Cena routine here. That's all I can say. You're overcoming the odds and overcoming Jinder. Jinder dominated pretty much the whole match. And then AJ just got that lucky moment, that lucky break. So praise God, they did the right thing. Praise God, they kept the title on AJ. Now, like I said, let's move on to a better, more skilled, and more credible challenger for the Royal Rumble in 6 weeks in Philadelphia. Amen, Michael Bullock?
Amen to that. 2 3/4 to 3 stars. I do agree with the rating. I mean, it was a good match, a good main event to close out the Clash of Champions pay-per-view. Yeah, I mean, yeah, we did see the Singh brothers. Did interfere, but he overcame it. So, yeah, now we can hopefully have AJ Styles move on to better things. And yeah, so there's really nothing more to say. 2 3/4 to 3 stars. So now let's move on to our overall thoughts on this final pay-per-view of 2017.
And you know what? I'm going to allow you. We're going to open forum this. So whoever wants to jump in, you guys can do it. Just give me your thoughts and your overall rating on the show. It looks like Anthony's going to be the first to go. So, Florio, it's all yours.
Overall, this show received poor storyline support in most cases, yet the wrestlers delivered in the ring, and they made it a quality show. Not the greatest show, but I'm going to say it was a solid but not overly spectacular show. I was going to give this a good rating. That was until that tag team match literally sucked the life out of it. I mean, Clash of Champions 2017 started out as a strong show with a solid kickoff match. I'll admit it. There was, that kickoff match with Mojo Rawley and Zack Ryder, even though it was only 2 stars for my liking, that was a solid match. And then you had a very good opener for the U.S. title, which to me was the fight of the night. I don't care what anybody says. And then you followed that up with an equally good tag team title match. Those matches delivered. The crowd was invested, and I thought we were heading for a bounce back show after all those weeks of garbage shows. But this show tonight was another WWE pay-per-view that started hot and fell off quickly. And it started with the women, I'm sorry to say. That Lumberjill match was completely overbooked, and it was secondary to the Lumberjill match. And, of course, the double referee nonsense was way too much. The Bludgeon Brothers squashing the Fashion Police was expected and fine. Main event was pretty good, but not the quality that I personally look for in a pay-per-view main event. Overall, I felt this event was a below average effort that started with a lot of potential, but then it largely fizzled out and faded. I mean, the first two matches, incredible. Strongly recommend you check out those first two matches. MF, I know you probably haven't seen the show yet because I know because your work commitments in the whole 9 yards. I get it, but if you want recommendations from me, MF, I'm gonna be real honest with you. The first two matches, the U.S. title, triple threat, and the tag team 4-way, those two matches, strongly recommend you watch. I mean, I know it's a SmackDown Live show. I know you want to watch the whole thing. That's fine, Andy, because you're a SmackDown guy. I get that in the whole 9 yards, but I strongly recommend those first two matches. You can pretty much skip the rest. That's all I can say on that. Overall rating, I was gonna give it a high mark, but after that tag team double referee BS and nonsense, that really hindered the rating. So I can honestly only give this a 6 out of 10 at the absolute best. So what a shame. I mean, after those first two matches, with how great those first two matches were, I'm like, okay, it looks like SmackDown Live finally woke up and we're finally gonna get a bounce back effort. But this show tonight proved once and for all. I said it last week, and I'm going to say it again right here and now. And I know MF's not going to like it, but I'm going to be the man who tells it like it is one more time. SmackDown Live, on the decline. Monday Night Raw, on the rise. Period. And the statement and the quotation, 6 out of 10. Whoever wants it next, it's yours.
I'll take it. 5.5 out of 10. Yeah, I do agree with the two matches that started the show. I mean, it was really good, but then it was on the decline after. So, yeah, SmackDown Live's got to do better, especially with their pay-per-views. I mean, I wouldn't quite say, Florio, that SmackDown Live is on the decline because there is a possibility that they can bounce back from some of their struggles, but we'll just have to wait and see. Hopefully it starts Thursday.
I'm just saying as of now, Bullock. As of now, SmackDown Live is
Oh, you're saying as of now. All right,
as of now, it's on the decline and Raw's on the rise.
I mean, I didn't catch that, so yeah, there's really nothing more to say. 5.5 out of 10. D.D. Woodson, it's yours.
Yeah, I'd probably go about 5.5. Strong start, mediocre middle, weak ending. So not much more I have to say about it. Tiger pretty much agrees. So that's it.
And that is it. So, okay, now I know you guys would be expecting Ridiculously Raw night. However, it's been pushed to Tuesday night. So just to give you the heads up, Tuesday night is Ridiculously Raw. Wednesday night is Cerebral Smack Talk. Because of the fact that myself, Anthony Florio, and Michael Bullock to Providence tomorrow night for Monday Night Raw. So that's why that's happening. The show's been moved. Now, Anthony, I'm going to say it like this. Tuesday night, 10:30 Eastern. Please join Anthony Florio on the Tone 25 as we will recap Monday Night Raw. He'll have his Tony's Take. Of course, I will do my show, Cerebral Smack Talk, Wednesday night at 10:30 on Braves Fan 95. And then, of course, Friday is, as always, NFL Friday as we continue our road. Week number 16 in the NFL season. Until then, for Anthony Florio, for Dee Woodson, for Michael Bullock, for Callie and Tiger, the official mascots of the wrestling form. This is good old MF Michael Fletcher saying thank you so much for watching this. Comment on the bottom, share it with all your friends on all platforms, on all social media networks. And until then, have a good night, everybody. And so long for now. Bye-bye.